And welcome back to the show. Trash Project is an interactive idea to promote urban beautification and environmental awareness by organizing an art practice around the common task of trash disposal. Now, the project is helping to reduce the community's consumption and lower their contribution to the trash problem. Joining us now, we're pleased to have the founder of the Trash Project, Adrian Kondratowicz. And Adrian, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
And so when we look at this here, you really found a unique way to really address an issue that a lot of New Yorkers are facing. And talk to me about what got you involved with the Trash Project.
So the concept started in 2008. I was living in Harlem for a few years, and I kept on being a little disgruntled and disheartened by how some community members disposed of their trash on the street, in addition to the lack of services we had in that area at the time. And things became apparent, quite fast that you had to do something, but we didn't want to polarize the community by creating a situation where we're just talking about the problem. And being a painter, I wanted to distinguish this idea by creating an interactive concept for people to engage in, kind of like looking at a painting, but instead of just visually studying one, this is an opportunity for people to create their own with the trash bag. So once the trash bag fills up, it creates a sculpture.
And so environmental justice is the key here, right? How do we get people to become more environmentally conscious, more environmentally friendly? As you began sharing in neighborhoods, what was the response like when you started talking to people about this whole issue of trash and environmental justice?
Well, a lot of things deal with this issue regardless of how we position it or how different communities read that problem. But at the same time, it's something that can bring a lot of people together, where we can create a solution collectively by volunteering, because this is the way the project functions for the most part, and coming together and giving back to our communities in ways where we participating in civic engagement and the democratic process. Simply by spending some time on our street. We don't have to go far to make a difference.
So part of that civic engagement is really organizing community cleanups, getting buy-in from the community to be able to do that. So give us a little bit about the community cleanup, how it's actually gone, and who are you reaching out to?
Right. So when we started out in Harlem, it was more in terms of the awareness that we were trying to build up around these issues and give people an opportunity and an access point for this type of programming. And art is a great mediator and provides an amazing invitation for people that might look at trash cleanup in a way that reminds them of something negative. So hence the color of the bags and the polka dot pattern. But we've done cleanups and projects in 7 different countries, and it became apparent to me that it's really a question of looking at how we contribute to the problem and how we can add to the solution. As Americans, we produce 30% of the world's trash with 5% of our population. That's about 1,700 pounds of trash a year per resident in the US. And in Europe, that's about 1,100 pounds in comparison. The trash that makes it into our ocean, it originate 80% of that originates on land, and we forget sometimes we are an island. When things blow off or get out of our way, that usually makes it into our waterways, and then that's how we contribute to the problem. But at the end of the day, there are two main problems or issues that kind of exasperate and passively contribute to this without us even knowing. And it's our consumption, it's our overconsumption here, and it's, simple practices like removing plastic film and packaging from your trash and just focusing on the food scraps and the actual stuff that has to go to the landfill or be burned. It makes a big difference, and you'll see the how much packaging and synthetic materials add to this mix, and it's everything from how we package our food, water, things like that. But it's nice to go around and do these big projects, but the action has to start at home. It's in our communities. And if we have time to do other things, I'm sure we can find time to do a little give back, whether it's a little gardening, in the tree pits. There's so many great groups in Harlem and in the Bronx that give back already. And what we like to do with the project is highlight their work. When they use the bags, they make themselves more visible, and that's a big effort, and it's a big plus for the city and any community that has a group like that. It just shows that the desire to help is there. It's just creating programming around it, and that's where the trash project comes in and helps people organize, or is a model for how to organize. So the last cleanup that we had in Harlem came about the same way. The young woman, Imani Cruz, she got in touch because she saw the work that we were doing at St. Nicholas Park. We have a year-long engagement at St. Nicholas Park that started in 2015. And I coached her through the process of starting her own cleanup, getting the tools, just giving her the tools of the trade in a way. And she was a quick study. She turned everything around super fast. And hopefully she'll continue her efforts and go forward. She's our third group that we've been able to coach this year, along with we run Uptown, which is a Washington Heights group, and the Humane Collective, which is a Bronx initiative.
Right. I want to go back for a minute to talk about sculpture, because you use sculpture as a way of really drawing people in, creating awareness for people to really think about trash and trash disposal. So again, talk to me about how you come about creating this sculpture and your hopes in it.
Well, this is a practice that everyone kind of does regardless. It's just the idea behind highlighting this everyday mundane thing came out of a long heritage of ready-mades going back to Duchamp, and the philosophy about art in the 60s and the 70s, how things were a little bit more participatory and engaging, and could be used as a tool to usher in a new consciousness and a creative thought that was more focused on problem solving. So all the ideas kind of synergize together in this project. So once you fill up the bag, it takes form, and the color highlights that form, and the pattern draws you in. So initially, the first form or iteration of the project was called the maximalism, where we engaged businesses and residents in participating in the project, and we provide them with bags, and they would use them, and then their street or their block, the next 3 blocks would be turned into a giant art installation, and then we commemorate each event with a plastic painting to just kind of tie it all back together and give people an idea of what they're actually engaging in.
So for people who want to get connected, what do they do in terms of supporting the work that you got going on? Obviously, you're trying to engage the community a little bit more. How can they play a part?
Well, we have a couple of different initiatives. You know, the simple way is to just come to one of our events and participate. If people have ideas on starting their own, please get in touch, and we would help facilitate any sort of help that we can. Um, uh, we also have a couple of initiatives that help fund what we do. We usually make do with art sales and grants, but we are interested in creating a permanent solution that empowers the community, but also takes the resources that are already there and kind of transforms them in a way that provides services for everybody, regardless if you're a bid or if you're not a bid. And it's called the Trash Fund. And that's something we're developing and seeding. And then I guess the most straightforward, the other most straightforward way is to buy an artwork from the project. We have prints, and then we have these beautiful plastic paintings and collage pieces from different collections that the money from the artwork goes back to the project, and we're able to do more work.
Well, Adrian, I want to thank you so much for being with us, and certainly continue the great work of beautifying our community. This is environmental justice in a good way, and thank you for the work that you do.
You know, the one thing I would like to say in closing, you know, all of this kind of adds up in how this affects our health, because at the end of the day, these are chemicals that we're, you know, kind of redistributing into the environment, and they're starting to interfere with the natural processes and systems, you know, from water, from earth, from the soil quality. And now, you know, there's an issue of microplastic. There's a, for people who are interested, Dr. Shauna Swan, she is an environmental and reproductive health epidemiologist, and she has conducted a study on the reproductive health of males and how plastics, microplastics affect people, especially females, while they're pregnant, and how these disturbances, these hormonal disturbances can be passed on to the fetus and to the newborn, and how it also affects the reproductive health of males in general. So these are issues that we need to pay attention to, how we package our food, what we drink out of, and how we take care of our communities, because it's something that we can't reverse once it's done. You know, we're getting a little too close to the threshold.
Yeah, we're going to pay real close attention. And Adrian, thank you for bringing this to us. And again, thank you for being with us here on the show.
Thank you for having me, and I hope this was informative.
Yes, Adrian Kondratowicz.
Yes.
I got it right. All right. Thank you much. All right. Well, thank you. Now, listen, if you want more information, we want our viewers to know, you can visit the website at trashproject.biz. Again, trashproject.biz.